Be ready. Start. In the light of aforesaid discussion and the observations, this court is of the considered opinion that there are sufficient admission to pass a decree in favor of the plaintiff. Consequently, suit of the plaintiff is decreed for the relief of mandatory and permanent injunction as prayed for. The defendant is directed to hand over the vacant and physical possession of the suit property to the plaintiff within 15 days. At the time of announcement of the order, this court asked plaintiff whether he wants to pursue his suit for the relief of damages, to which he agreed to waive off the said relief. Accordingly, statement of the plaintiff was also recorded to this effect. Accordingly, the relief of damages stands withdrawn. Decree sheet be prepared for the relief of permanent and mandatory injunction accordingly. There is no order as to cost. File be consigned to record room. As requested, copy of this judgment be given Dasti. The High Court noticed the facts of the different appeals and submissions made by the learned counsel. The High Court opined that the real point of determination in the appeal is not as to whether suit premises is a shared household or not, and since the domestic violence proceedings initiated by the daughter-in-law are pending adjudication, determination of this issue in suit proceedings would result in causing serious prejudice to the claim of the applicant in the domestic violence proceedings. The High Court observed that it had consciously refrained from determining the question as to whether the suit premises is shared household or not. The High Court was of the view that the decisions cited have not considered the effect of the pending domestic violence application instituted by daughter-in-law upon the civil suit. The High Court, however, held that suit for possession instituted cannot be said to be non-maintainable, since necessary answer falls within the term procedure established by law. The High Court has further observed that question is whether the suit could be simply decreed by the trial court on the basis of the title without weighing the effect of the statutory right in favor of the appellant. The High Court opined that the trial court erroneously proceeded to pass decree under Order 12, Rule 6 CPC by not impleading the husband and failing to appreciate the specific submission of the appellant while admitting the title of the respondent that the suit premises was the joint family property, but also losing the sight of the DV Act. In these circumstances, the impugned judgments cannot be sustained and are accordingly set aside. The matters are remanded back to the trial court for fresh adjudication in accordance with the directions given herein below. 1. At the first instance, in all cases where the respondent's son stroke the appellant's husband has not been impleaded, the trial court shall direct his impleadment by invoking its suo motu powers under Order 1, Rule 10 CPC. The trial court will then consider whether the appellant had made any unambiguous admission about the respondent's ownership rights in respect of the suit premises. If she has, and her only defense to being dispossessed therefrom is her right of residence under the DV Act, then the trial court shall, before passing a decree of possession on the wife premise of ownership right, ensure that in view of the subsisting rights of the appellant under the DV Act, she is provided with an alternate accommodation as per section 19(1)(f) of the DV Act, which will continue to be provided to her till the subsistence of her matrimonial relationship. Third, in cases where the appellant specifically disputes the exclusive ownership rights of the respondents over the suit premises, notwithstanding the title documents in their favor, the trial court, while granting her an opportunity to lead evidence in support of her claim will be entitled to pass interim orders on applications moved by the respondents directing the appellant to vacate the suit premises subject to the provision of a suitable alternate accommodation to her under section 19(1)(f) of the DV Act, which direction would also be subject to the final outcome of the suit. 4. While determining as to whether the appellant's husband or the in-laws bears the responsibility of providing such alternate accommodation to the appellant, if any, the trial court may be guided by paragraph 46 of the decision in Vinay Verma Supra. 5. The trial court shall ensure that adequate safeguards are put in place to ensure that the direction for alternate accommodation is not rendered meaningless and that a shelter is duly secured for the appellant during the subsistence of her matrimonial relationship. 6. This exercise of directing the appellant to vacate the suit premises by granting her alternate accommodation will be completed expeditiously and not later than 6 months from today. In fact, the very purpose of enacting the DV Act was to provide for a remedy which is an amalgamation of civil rights of the complainant, that is, aggrieved person. Intention was to protect women against violence of any kind, especially that occurring within the family, as the civil law does not address this phenomena in its entirety. It is treated as an offense under section 498A of the Penal Code 1860. The purpose of enacting the law was to provide a remedy in the civil law for the protection of women from being victims of domestic violence and to prevent the occurrence of domestic violence in the society. It is for this reason that the scheme of the Act provides that in the first instance, the order that would be passed by the magistrate on a complaint by the aggrieved person would be of a civil nature, and if the said order is violated, it assumes the character of criminality. Thank you.